First of all, before going for calculation of other things, I want to make you clear about the conversion of nutrients from SS basis to diameter basis, because in most of the question you may get nutritional composition on SS basis, and in that case, for calculation of the stability coefficient or TDN or SE or NR, you have to convert first to on diameter basis. And therefore, regarding this conversion, all of you should be very, very clear. So, although I have discussed about this, but still I want to make you clear like this. And the nutritional composition you may get like this, and here you'll get instead of diameter you will get moisture percentage. It is in percentage, okay. Then CP percentage, ether extract percentage, crude fiber percentage, and then you may get total percentage, okay. Sometime in some questions NFE may not be given. You have to calculate from these values: CP, ether extract, wood fiber, and total S. I think there are two formula. If it is on SS basis, there is one formula for calculation of NFE, nitrogen free extract of the feed. And if it is on diameter basis, there is another formula for calculation of NFE. Regarding that, I will not discuss. You just go through. It will be there. Uh, so if the composition is given like this, like moisture and other composition on SS basis, in that case, first of all, we have to calculate the diameter percentage. 100 minus 20. 20 is the moisture percentage. You will get the diameter percentage. It means like here, this 8 means in 100, no, 8%. 8% means 8 gram or 8 milligram or 8 whatever you want to assign unit. Suppose 8 gram in 100 gram, 8 gram in 100 gram, but in that particular 100 gram, like 20 gram is your moisture, on only 80 gram is your diameter. So therefore it means like this A is present in 80 gram of diameter, not in 100 gram of diameter, okay, because 20% or 20 gram is your water. So 8 gram of CP here, or 3 gram of ether extract, or 2 gram of wood fiber, or 10 gram of N-acetyl, and 77 gram of nitrogen extract is 80 gram of diameter. Okay, so therefore you have to convert into 100. That means how much be in 100 gram of diameter. So this is the calculation. Suppose in 80 gram, if it is 8 gram, in 80 gram, if it is 8 gram, then in 1 gram it will be 8 divided by 80, and in 100 gram it will be 8 divided by 80 into 100. And for easiness, actually I am writing like this. It should be 8 divided by 80. 8 is what? 8 is your nutrient percentage, or here in this case CP percentage on SS basis divided by diameter percentage into 100. Okay, it is clear. So this way you can calculate the, or you can convert the nutrients of SS basis into diameter basis. Someone is there. Okay, it is very easy. And in reverse, suppose your estimation is given on diameter basis, and you have to convert into SS basis. In that case, what you will do? Okay, here suppose things are given like this: 80, 10, 3.75, 2.5, 12.5, and 96.25. In that case, suppose in this way, suppose it is given, and you have to convert to here. So here, since it is 80, definitely the moisture will be 20%, and after that this 10 is present in how much quantity? The 10 is present in this 80 gram diameter. In 80 gram diameter, in the 10 is present where sorry, in 100 gram diameter, not 80. Here in this case it will be reversed. No, in 100 gram diameter, 10 gram will be your protein. And since the diameter percentage is 80, then in that case, in 80 gram, it will be how much? So that means the calculation will be reversed. And in this case, suppose here what we have to write, 10 divided by 100 into 80, then you will get 8%. Okay, this way means from diameter basis, very easily you can convert into S basis, and from S basis you have to convert very easily into the diameter basis. But that concept should be clear to all of you. Okay, now that it is clear, I think, okay, all of you will be able to convert. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then I'll go for some more examples of calculation of this what may be SC or maybe TDN or NR. So this is a question. So this is the question. In a digestibility trial in growing cattle, a balanced ration was fed through concentrated mixture, tree fodder, and paddy straw. That means these three things were given to them. Concentrated mixture was fed because it is a ruminant animal, dairy cattle. Growing cattle is a ruminant animal, so we have to provide roughages along with the concentrate. Okay, and in this case, it was given concentrated mixture along with tree fodder and paddy straw. And the average nutrient composition on diameter basis, here it is given on diameter basis, you no need to convert into SL basis. Oh, sorry, from SL basis to diameter basis, it is given in diameter basis. The average nutrient composition on diameter basis and percent nutrient digestibility. This is the digestibility coefficient of nutrient. Percent nutrient digestibility means digestibility coefficient of nutrient are as follows. Okay. Now, what you have to calculate? You have to calculate the DCB percentage. Okay, you can calculate everything, but specifically it is asked that you have to calculate the DCB percentage, then TDN percentage. Of course, for calculating TDN percentage, you have to calculate everything. Then nutritive ratio, DE and ME value as per Rostock equation. Actually, Rostock equations are there. It is a these are irrigation equation, and on the basis of digestible nutrient percentage, actually we can calculate the DE and ME value of the feed of the balance ration on the basis of the above information. So this type of suppose questions are there. The question is there. Suppose how we'll solve it. So regarding that, I will discuss. So here the first step will be you have to see the percent nutrient composition of the balance ration consisting of concentrated mixture, tree fodder, and paddy straw. So here, first of all, what we have to calculate? In concentrated mixture, 100 gram diameter contains 16.52 gram of CP. So here you see the CP, no? CP in 100 gram, it is in percentage. All are in percentage. Percentage means in 100 gram. The same thing is written here in concentrated mixture. Suppose this is the concentrated mixture. In 100 gram, protein is present, how much? 16.52. In concentrated mixture, 100 gram diameter, since the composition is on diameter basis, therefore it is written in concentrated mixture, 100 gram diameter. That means 100 gram diameter of concentrated mixture contains 16.52 gram of CP. And in tree fodder, in 100 gram, it is how much? In tree fodder, 100 gram diameter contains 9.27 gram of CP. Okay, you just see very seriously. Okay, then in paddy straw, in 100 gram diameter contains 3.58 gram of CP. Okay, this CP, 3.58 gram of CP. Therefore, total is how many gram? This is 100 gram, this is 100 gram, this is 100 gram. Therefore, in 300 gram, of balance ration, okay, this is a balance ration comprising of concentrated mixture, tree fodder, and paddy straw. In 300 gram of balance ration, diameter, 300 gram of balance ration diameter. Okay, that means together contains total how much? This plus this plus this, it will be 29.37 gram of CP. 29.37 gram of CP. So therefore, in 100 gram of balance ration diameter, If we consider this is a balanced ration, therefore in 100 gram of balanced ration of dry matter contains this divided by this into 100, that is 9.79 gram of Cp. It means whatever mixture, whatever balanced ration was provided to the growing cattle, it had 9.79% Cp on diameter basis. Okay, that means this is indirectly it is given. That means you have to calculate here, since it is provided this thing together, you have to calculate the Cp percentage, ethyl extract percentage, wood fiber percentage, and NAP percentage of the combined ration. That means the balanced ration, composite rations, consisting of concentrated mixture, tree fooder, and paddy straw. So therefore, this calculation. Okay. So similar to Cp, you can calculate ethyl extract percentage of balanced ration on diameter basis like this. Same here, I have calculated the together what will be the how much, then 300. This way it is this much, and here in case of NAP it will be 60.88%. Okay, it is, but if you know this, if you understand this concept, in that case very easily you will be able to calculate the Cp percentage plus other nutrient percentage of that composite mixture. Okay, it's clear. Then if you know the percentage of Cp, if you know the percentage of ethyl extract, wood fiber, or NFE, and if you know the digestibility coefficient of nutrients, this digestibility coefficient of nutrients, in that case, you'll be able to calculate a digestible nutrient percentage. Digestible nutrient percentage. DCP means digestible nutrient percentage. Okay, and here nutrient digestibility means digestibility coefficient of nutrient. Digestibility coefficient of nutrient and digestible nutrient is different. Okay, nutrient digestibility and digestible nutrient, two different terms are used in animal nutrition, and both are different. So after calculating the percentage of different proximate principles, okay, this way you can very easily calculate the digestible nutrient percentage, since you have this digestibility coefficient of all the nutrients. Okay, so that formula was already told to you. What will be the, this will be the formula: Cp percentage on diameter basis, digestibility coefficient of Cp, it means it is given already in the equation, divided by 100. This way you will be able to calculate the DCB percentage of the ration. Okay, it is also asked in the question. But for calculation of TDN percentage, you will need these three. Then DE percentage, similarly, ethyl extract percentage, DC of ethyl extract divided by 100. So this way it will be 1.24%. Then DCF, digestible wood fiber percentage into digestibility coefficient of wood fiber divided by 100. That way we'll get 10.60%. Then digestible NFE percentage into DC of NFE divided by 100, you'll get like this. Okay, clear to everybody? Then after calculation of digestible nutrient percentage, you can calculate the TDN percentage. It will be like this: 59.65 will be your TDN percentage. And after calculating TDN percentage, you'll be able to calculate NR, nutritive ratio. Nutritive ratio is nothing but digestible non-nitrogenous nutrient percentage. Means sum of the digestible non-nitrogenous nutrient divided by digestible nitrogenous nutrient. So non-nitrogenous nutrients will be DCF, DNFE, and DCF and DNFE, as well as DE will be the digestible non-nitrogenous nutrient, and DCP will be digestible nitrogenous nutrient. So since you have already calculated TDN percentage, you can directly minus TDN percentage from DCP, then you will get the sum of the digestible non-nitrogenous nutrient percentage divided by digestible nitrogenous percentage. That is DCP, will get this 13.17. NR will not, since it is ratio, NR is ratio, therefore it does not have any unit. Okay, and very easily in your own word also now we'll be able to define what is NR, nutritive ratio. Nutritive ratio is the ratio of the sum of digestible non-nitrogenous nutrient divided by digestible nitrogenous nutrient. What is TDN? TDN is the sum of digestible nutrients of a feed. That is very easily you can define sum of digestible nutrients. These are the digestible nutrients, isn't it? Total sum of or sum of digestible nutrient of a feed is the TDN percentage, and nutritive ratio is the ratio of sum of the digestible non-nitrogenous nutrient divided by digestible nitrogenous nutrient. Okay, so it is done. Then ME, these are the equation, Rostock equation, and this you have to of course remember. So these are the factor actually, and these factors were calculated after conducting several digestion trials. And of course, this calculation you cannot assume as absolutely correct, but means it will provide some idea or approximate value of digestible energy as well as metabolizable energy content of a composite ration in ruminant animal. These two equation is only applicable for the ruminant animals, not for other animals. That you please remember. Or you can say dairy cattle. Means mostly dairy cattle. It will be this two equation will be appropriate, because rumen digestion pattern, although like sheep and goat may be ruminant animals, but digestion pattern may be different. Okay, little bit it may be different, and in case of non-ruminant animal, it is totally different. So therefore, it is not applicable in non-ruminant animals, but in case of ruminant animals also. Okay, it will provide some approximate figure of digestible energy and metabolizable energy, but you cannot say this approximate, it is absolute or it is 100% correct. Anyway, you have to remember this factor. For ME, it is different. Okay, and then by putting the values of different digestible nutrients, easily you can calculate the DA value in 100 gram diameter. Since these are percentage, therefore this kilocalorie 251.90 kilocalorie per 100 gram diameter. Okay, which is the value. And indirectly you can say on the basis of physiological fuel value of carbohydrate, protein and fat also, from the approximate composition, we can calculate the approximate value of energy. Okay, so these two equations, all of you please remember. Then the second problem, it is also a little bit different. I have not discussed. Calculate starch equivalent, because many of you I think ask me individually that like because of some confusion I think regarding that calculation of starch equivalent. So therefore I will discuss one or two problems. Calculate starch equivalent and nutritive ratio of barley. Barley is what? It is a grain. It's a grain. It is not rough it is a concentrate. Calculate the SE and NR of barley if the digestible nutrient values are as follows. Already digestible nutrient percentages are given. DCP 66%, DE 12%, DCF 2.6%, DNFP 2.1%, and value number of barley is 98. In case of concentrate, we have to use value number or golden number. But in case of roughages, dry roughages, green roughages, we have to consider some factor. We have to consider some factor, and that factor should be multiplied with the wood fiber percentage, and that should be subtracted from the calculated starch equivalent value. This factor also, if please remember, this is okay for DCP, DCF, and DNFE. The factors will be same for all the feed, concentrate roughages, dry roughages, green roughages. For all the feed stuff, actually it will be same. But for digestible ether extract, it will be different. For cereal grain, it will be different. For oil cakes, it will be different. And then for roughages, it will be different. Okay, it varies from 1.91 to 2.41. Okay, so 1.91 is for roughage, 2.12 it is for grains, and 2.41 is for oil seeds. That this factor, please remember. Then you can calculate very easily. This is SC. You can say it is a calculated. This is not the final one. This is the tentative SC of the barley, 92.84. Then corrected SC. Corrected SC, this way you have to utilize the value number. I think regarding that, most of some of the students ask me about this value number, how it will be, how we can calculate that. So this is the calculation. Calculated AC, that means 92.84 into value number or golden number divided by 100. So this way it will be 90.98. Okay, so this will be the corrected starch equivalent of the barley. The nutrient ratio. So here, since you have not calculated the TDN percentage, this way sum of the digestible non-nitrogenous nutrients divided by digestible nitrogenous nutrient. But always remember here that, like the calculation of TDN percentage, here also DE percentage you have to multiply with 2.25. This one you do not forget. Most of the time actually students forget this. Since I am telling that it is the sum of the, it is the ratio of the sum of the digestible non-nitrogenous nutrients divided by digestible nitrogenous nutrients. So after writing this, most of the students write like this: DCF, DNFE, DE divided by DCP, but it is not correct. Okay, this one you please remember. Another problem, yes. Factor for 1.91. Huh? Oh, this one, no, this one. No, no, for you just listen, for roughages it may be green, it may be dry. Okay, for roughages it will be 1.91 roughages. For concentrate like barley or it may be maize, it will be 2.12. For oilseed means like GNC or maybe protein feed like soybean meal, it will be 2.41. Okay, only these three values you have to remember. Okay, the next example, like suppose here it is roughage. You see, it is roughage. No, it is a dry roughage, unsoft dry roughage. But this for this correction factor, actually correction factor for soft and unsoft actually it will be different. Okay. Roughages. Okay, so this way, this is the third problem. calculate the ASEAN NR of a dry rough phase unsoft having DCP this much, this much, DCF this much, DNFP this much, and crude fiber percentage of that dry rough phase is 30%. Okay. So calculate. This is the calculated 39.635. This is the calculated starch equivalent, and after that, here you have subtract. But in case of this value number, multiply with this divided by 100. Okay. But in case of this factor for crude fiber, you have to multiply the crude fiber percentage with the factor, and then you have to subtract from the calculated starch equivalent, and this will be your corrected starch equivalent. Okay, little bit different here. You have to subtract, and in case of this, you have to multiply divided by 100. Okay, this you please remember. And then nutritive ratio. Okay, this you please do not forget to write the percentage into 2.25 divided by DCF. You will get the NR, nutritive ratio. And nutritive ratio, there are two things now: wider nutritive ratio and narrower nutritive ratio. Wider nutritive ratio means this is wider, no? Means here energy is more, protein is less. Definitely here DCP only 0.5. Here means all maximum is energy. Means from the nutritive ratio we can just feel like this. If the nutritive ratio is wider, this more, in that case we can say it is an energy feed. It may be an energy feed or it may be an energy rich feed. And if it is narrower, that means if it is less, then definitely DCP will be more. So you can say it is a proteinous feed or it is a feed rich in protein. So this interpretation you can make. It is clear. Then you take another problem. This is a different type of thing, so problem. This is not different type. This is indirect method of determining digestibility coefficient. This one also I think one problem I have discussed already. In a digestion trial in dairy goat, the daily average consumption of cowpea hay was 3 kg. There was 5 kg feces. Okay, the nutritional composition of cowpea, the nutritional composition of cowpea hay and feces on diameter basis, here also it is given on diameter basis, are were as follows. This is the cowpea hay. That means when the 3 kg cowpea hay was fed, 5 kg feces was voided. So these were the nutrient percentage of the hay and feces on diameter basis. Okay. And in the second digestion trial, when the same dairy goat was fed 4 kg maize along with 3 kg cowpea hay. It means along with 3 kg cowpea hay, 4 kg maize was fed and 7 kg feces was voided daily. On an average, 7 kg feces was voided daily. Now, what you have to calculate? You have to calculate the TDN percentage and nutritive ratio of maize if the chemical composition of maize and feces in the second digestion trial on diameter basis are as follows. Okay. In the second digestion trial, both cowpea hay and maize were fed. Okay. And since cowpea hay nutritional composition is already given, okay, therefore here it is not given, only nutritional composition of maize is given here along with the feces fecal nutritional composition. But Here you remember that in this particular composition of feces, nutrient from both cowpea hay and maize are there because both were fed together in the second digestion trial. That you remember. Here, whatever nutrient was voided in the feces, that nutrients was from the cowpea hay. But here, the nutrient voided in the feces was both from cowpea hay as well as maize. We cannot differentiate. That means how much is from maize, how much is from cowpea hay. That we cannot say from this particular table. But we can calculate that I will show you. Okay. This is indirect method of determining the stability. So how we can calculate? What we have to calculate? We have to calculate the return percentage and utility ratio of maize. So for that, how we will proceed? First of all, we have to calculate the diameter intake through cowpea hay. So here 3 kg was fed. No, 3 kg was fed. Diameter percentage is 85%. From that, we can calculate the diameter intake through cowpea hay. 3 kg means 3000 gram into 85 divided by 100 gram. It will be 2550 gram diameter. This was the intake in the first digestion trial. In the first digestion trial, per day diameter intake through cowpea hay was 2550 gram. Diameter intake through maize. In the second digestion trial, when maize was fed along with the cowpea hay. In that case, what was the consumption of maize? Maize diameter was 90%. Therefore, this mass was the consumption of diameter through maize. Okay. Therefore, total diameter intake, since both cowpea hay and maize were fed in the second digestion trial, total diameter intake will be this plus this, 6150 gram. Okay. Now, fecal diameter. Fecal diameter voided when cowpea hay was fed. In the first digestion trial, how much feces was voided? 5 kg, that is 500 gram, it will be 1250 gram. And fecal diameter when cowpea hay and maize were fed in the second digestion trial, it will be 1400 because 7 kg feces was voided in the second digestion trial. In the first digestion trial, 5 kg feces was voided, and in the second digestion trial, 7 kg feces was voided. But in the first digestion trial, only cowpea hay was fed. In the second digestion trial, both cowpea hay and maize were fed the goat. Okay, after calculating this one you please see very critically. Okay, there are many things are there. We can calculate like differently also. First of all, nutrient intake. This is NI means nutrient intake through cowpea hay. That means how much nutrient intake was there in the first digestion trial. In the first digestion trial, this is the diameter intake. You know the nutrient composition of cowpea on diameter basis. Therefore, you can calculate the nutrient intake for cowpea hay. That means when only cowpea hay was fed to the dairy goat, what was the consumption of CP? What was the consumption of food fiber? What was the consumption of NFE? And what was the consumption of butyric extract? Okay, this one. Yes, do not assume that this is a very complex thing. This is a very simple thing. Nutrient intake through cowpea hay. This is suppose A. I am giving the number A. So how we can calculate? 2550 was the diameter consumption when only cowpea hay was fed. Indeed, it is 60% on diameter basis divided by 100. This will be the consumption of CP. That means 382.5 gram CP was consumed when 3 kg was the consumption of cowpea hay in the first digestion trial. Similarly, food fiber you can calculate. NFE you can calculate, and interest rate you can calculate. Consumption, this was the consumption, 765 gram CF, 1020 gram NFP, 76.5 gram extract. Consumption during the fertilization tract, consumption of nutrients. Then nutrient intake through maize. Okay, that means individually, what was the nutrient intake for maize? This was the diameter consumption. In the second reaction trial, this was the diameter consumption for providing maize along with the cowpea hay. Okay. How much it is? 432. 3600 into 12% is the CV percentage divided by 100. Similarly, this is the diameter. This is the CF percentage divided by 100. This is the diameter and if percentage divided by 100. Diameter extra percentage divided by 100. Okay. Now total nutrient intake. Total nutrient intake, it is in the second reaction trial. Okay. So since cowpea hay and maize were fed together, this plus this, a plus b will be this much. Okay, suppose this x. This was the total nutrient intake. Since we need nutrient intake minus nutrient outgo divided by nutrient intake into 100, that will give the digestibility coefficient of a particular nutrient. Okay. So for that particular calculation, actually we are calculating like this since we are interested for maize. Okay, now nutrient voided when cowpea hay was fed. When only this is the fertilization trial. How much diameter of feces was voided? 1250 gram, and this is the CV percentage of the feces voided in the fertilization trial. Okay, this way we can calculate. This way you can calculate for CF. This is for NFE, and this is for interest rate. Okay. Then this is the nutrient voided only when only cowpea hay was fed. Okay. And now nutrient voided when when maize plus cowpea hay were fed. Nutrient voided when cowpea, and this is for second reaction trial. So second reaction trial, we know the CV percentage of the feces, then good fiber percentage of the feces, and NFE percentage of the feces, and heterogeneous percentage of the feces. So therefore, we can calculate nutrient voided in the second reaction trial through the feces. This is nutrient voided when in the first reaction trial. Now, nutrient digested from cowpea hay in the first reaction trial. In the first reaction trial, this is about the first reaction trial. Nutrient digested from the cowpea hay. Cowpea hay, what was the intake? This was the intake of CP, and this is the nutrient voided in the outgo of CP. Intake minus outgo is equal to nutrient digested. So therefore, A minus C. This is the nutrient digested when only cowpea hay was fed. Then nutrient digested when maize plus cowpea were fed. So total nutrient intake was this when both were fed, maize and cowpea in the second reaction trial. And total nutrient voided is this much. Therefore, x minus d is equal to this much. Nutrient digested when maize plus cowpea were fed. Okay, this is the values. Now, this is the nutrient digested when maize plus cowpea were fed. Okay, and this is the nutrient digested when cowpea hay were fed. Okay, therefore, this minus this will give the nutrient digested from maize. Okay, only for maize. This minus this. Means 604.5 minus 220 is equal to 384.5. So since we want the coefficient of different nutrients of maize, then we'll be able to calculate the percentage. Okay, depending on the requirement, you can make the tables. This is very simple table, but if you must have concept actually. If you have that concept, how we can calculate the things, you'll be able to easily make this table. Okay, or if you are confused like different things you have to remember, then individually also you can calculate, but it will be a very long things, like it will be maybe 15 pages or more than that will be required, because this is one page, this is one page, this one like that. Okay, therefore club together. Okay, this is the nutrient digested from maize. Okay, okay. Now, clear or not? Any confusion? Any confusion about this table? No confusion. Any confusion? No. Then calculation of now digestibility coefficient of CP of maize, HCF, NFE, terrestrial like that. Okay. So how we can calculate the digestibility coefficient? Nutrient intake minus nutrient outgo. That means nutrient digested divided by nutrient intake. Nutrient digested divided by nutrient intake into 100. Or we can say nutrient intake minus nutrient outgo divided by nutrient intake into 100 to give the digestibility coefficient of a nutrient. And in case of maize, since it is CP, for CP intake for maize divided by or CP digested for maize divided by CP intake for maize into 100 to give the digestibility coefficient of CP of maize. Here you see 384. 384 was the digested. So nutrient digested for maize 384.5. What was the intake? 432 nutrient intake. The CP intake for maize was 432, and this is the digested. Therefore, here it is the this divided by this into 100 will give the 89%. Clear? Then this of CF similarly, this mass, this of NFE, this mass, this of iterate of maize, this mass. Okay. Now this is the digestibility coefficient. Now digestible nutrient mean DCP, DCF, DNF, D. So how DCP digestible nutrient percentage is equal to how much? 12. 12 is the CP percentage on diameter basis into what? 89% is what? DCP percent DC means of CP. CP percentage into digestibility coefficient of CP divided by 100. It will give the DCP percentage. Similarly, DCF, I will show you DNFE D in the very first setting equation. So this way we will be able to calculate digestible nutrient percentage of different nutrients. And very easily, PDN percentage of maize is mass, NR is mass. Okay. So this is not very tough. This is just if you have any confusion, you just ask me, or you can see these things later on also. I'll provide you the PPT. Okay. Now Another problem. Calculate the TDN and NR of the leguminous hay from the following data. Diameter of hay is 85%. Here you have to calculate the TDN and nutritive ratio of a leguminous hay. Diameter percentage is given 85%, and nutrient percentage on S basis is given, plus the acceptability coefficient is given. Nutrient percentage is given on SL basis, not on diameter basis. You remember that. And then the acceptability coefficient is given. The acceptability coefficient is given. The acceptability coefficient that diameter SS it will not come. So it is given. Okay. Now how we will proceed? Now here diameter percentage is only given. Comparison of nutrient from diameter basis. Comparison of nutrient to diameter basis. This will be your first work. This will be your first work. So diameter percentage of leguminous hay is already given. It is 85%. In the equation, that moisture percentage can also be given. Now diameter percentage, but you do not confuse. Okay. Now very easily you can calculate. Comparison I already told you. I will not elaborate. C percentage on diameter basis, this way it will be 14.70. Liter extract 2.94. CF 28.23. NFE 41.17%. Okay. From diameter means on diameter basis, nutrient percentage will be higher than on SL basis. You remember that. It was 12.5, but on diameter basis it is 14.7. After that, you can calculate the DCP because DC of the different nutrient already given here. So if you after converting the nutrient percentage on diameter basis, you can calculate the digestible nutrient percentages like DCP, DNP, DNFE, DCF. Like that, you can easily calculate the digestible nutrient percentage of hay, that is leguminous. Okay, it is this much, and after that TDN and NR very easily we will be able to calculate. And this type of question definitely will be there in the practical exam. I think it may be online. I do not know the procedure, but definitely this type of question may come. Anything? Any confusion? Anybody? Prem Agrawal? Prem Agrawal present or not? Huh? Is Jadov? You please unmute. Sunesh Jadov. Not present? Punsang Lamu. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
So any confusion?
No, sir.
Any confusion? No. So if you take some interest, no, these things are very easy and interesting also. 36 only. Why people sir? Actually, like if some phone call is coming during this presentation, you should not receive. If you receive, the link will go, and after that, you will not be able to join. I think these things are there. So please avoid the phone calls during the presentation or during the class. Prem Agrawal, are you present? Where is Prem Agrawal? It is. So next, these two questions you try to solve by yourself. Okay. Now another interesting things, another very interesting topic for me. Of course, I do not know whether it is interesting to you or not. It is very much interesting. calculation of requirement of diameter, DCP, and GDN of dairy cattle on the basis of body weight, milk production, and milk fat percentage. And these things may be discussed by Samato sir, like while he discussing about the nutrient, how to calculate nutrient requirement of for growth, for maintenance, for production. These things may be calculated, but if it is calculated, then also this will be repetition. Anyway, in practical also this type of things we have are there, and this is the problem. Calculate the diameter requirements which partitioning of diameter. Regarding partitioning of diameter, I think Dr. Briandas already discussed. And regarding diameter requirement, how to calculate regarding that, I think Brian already he discussed, and this is only repetition. Calculate the diameter requirements with partitioning of diameter and requirements of DCP and GDN for a dairy cow weighing 450 kg and yielding 9 kg of milk with 5.5% fat. And these things may be discussed by Brian or some others. But in practical also, these things are there. Calculation of this diameter or DCP and GDN on the basis of milk yield and milk fat percentage. Okay, you have to be very clear. How many present? Only 36. Prem Agrawal. Okay, where means you was not there near your mobile or what? Okay. So this is the this is a very interesting thing. Okay. So first of all, body weight is given 450 kg, milk yield is 9 kg, and milk fat percentage is 5.5. And here, actually, it is difficult to show you. Therefore, I am writing like this. First of all, you have to calculate the metabolic body weight. This is the live weight, 450 kg is the live weight of the animal, and this is the metabolic body weight, 97.70 kg. How to calculate? This is the 450 to the power of 3 by 4. Actually, these things very easily you can calculate, but since there is no option, I'm unable to show you here. What we have to do, actually, this is nothing but this metabolic body weight is nothing but it is square root. You have to do square root twice of twice. You have to do square root twice of the total of body weight, that is body weight to the power 3. That means body weight to the power 3, that is 450 into 450 into 450. Okay, here body weight to the power 3, that is 450 into 450 into 450. That value you have to square root for twice, then you will get this value. Okay, means twice square root of body weight to the power 3. That will be your metabolic body weight of the cow. Okay, it is, I do not have that sign. Okay, square root sign is not available, therefore I am not showing it. I think Brian, I don't know whether he's shown these things or not. Anyway, diameter requirement, if it is crossbred, in that case it's very strong, 2.5 to 3% of the body weight. And if we consider 3%, then diameter requirement will be 450 into 3 divided by 100, it will be 13.5 kg. This is the total diameter requirement. This is the total diameter requirement for 450 kg live dairy cow. After that, partitioning of diameter, it's 1/3 of the total diameter should come from concentrates, and 2/3 of the total diameter should come from roughages. Therefore, concentrate it will be 4.5, and roughages it will be 9 kg. And then out of the total diameter, out of the total roughage diameter, 2/3 should be dry roughage and 1/3 should be green roughage. Okay, And here also another point is there. If the green roughage is leguminous, green roughage may be leguminous or non-leguminous. If non-leguminous, then it will be 1/3 of the total roughage green and 2/3 of the total roughage will be dry. But if it is leguminous, in that case 1/4 and 3/4. Okay, it will be 1/4 will be your 1/4 of the total roughage will be your green and 3/4 of the total roughage will be dry roughage. Okay, so this is the requirement. That means if the body weight of the cow is 450 kg, then we can provide 3 kg diameter in the form of green roughage, 6 kg diameter in the form of dry roughage, and 4.5 kg diameter in the form of concentration. Okay, this is the meaning. Then TDN requirement. How we can calculate the TDN requirement? So since it is milking animal, dairy animal, so requirement of energy, that is TDN, requirement of TDN will be the sum total of the requirement for maintenance plus requirement for milk production. Of course, there will be need of some energy for growth, but since growth will be very minimum and practically there will not be any growth, of course, during the lactating period. Therefore, actually, we can ignore that particular requirement. Growth requirement we can ignore, and therefore the total requirement will be maintenance requirement plus requirement for milk production. Okay, these two will be the main requirement for the lactating animal. So therefore, here I am writing TDN requirement. First, maintenance requirement. What will be the maintenance requirement? Maintenance requirement of TDN for lactating dairy cow will be 34 gram TDN per kg metabolic body weight. You please remember this value. 34 gram TDN per kg metabolic body weight. Since metabolic body weight is 97.70, therefore 34 into 97.7, total is 3321.8 gram TDN. This will be the maintenance requirement of TDN. And for milk production, the requirement is 330 gram TDN per kg, not milk, per kg fat corrected milk. So you do not think that it is very confusing. Here there is no nothing here to confuse. Here this 330 gram TDN per kg fat corrected milk, and how we can calculate fat corrected milk, regarding that of course we have to be clear. Your concept regarding fat corrected milk should be clear, of course. How to calculate fat corrected milk? Fat corrected milk we calculate like this. You have to remember this formula. You have to remember this formula. Calculation of fat corrected milk. So the formula is 0.4 plus bracket 0.15 into fat percentage. Because fat percentage here I am giving 5.5, it may be 5, it may be 3.5, it may be 6 also, it may be 7 also. But these two value you have to remember. This is the formula for calculating fat corrected milk. So in this case it will be 1.225 kg. And the meaning is, here the meaning is fat corrected milk 1.225 kg. The meaning is 1 kg milk with 5.5% fat. We have milk in the question. The milk had 5.5% fat. Therefore, 1 kg milk with 5.5% fat is equivalent. This is not equal actually. This is equivalent to 1.225 kg milk with 4% fat. Actually, whatever milk will be there, fat percentage will be different. But for calculation of energy, actually we have to make that particular quantity of milk as a milk having 4% fat. And for that, we need to calculate fat corrected milk. Okay, this is the meaning 1.225 kg 1.225 kg fat corrected milk means 1 kg milk with 5.5% fat is equivalent to 1.225 kg milk with 4% fat. If the fat percentage is 4, then you can say here 1 kg milk with 4% fat, sorry, 4.5% fat is equivalent to this much kg milk with 4% fat. Okay, so this is the meaning. Therefore, how many kg milk was there? It was 9 liter, 9 kg. So therefore, 9 kg milk with 5.5% fat is equivalent to 1.225 into 9, it is 11.025 kg milk with 4% fat. Therefore, TDN requirement for milk production will be 330 into kg fat corrected milk, that is 11.025. There will be this much. There will be this much 3,638.25 gram. And total requirement, maintenance requirement plus requirement for milk production. Total it will be 6960.05 gram. Total requirement of TDN for a dairy cow having 450 kg body weight, producing 9 kg milk per day with 5.5% fat. The requirement of energy in terms of TDN will be 6960.05 gram. This is the total requirement. Okay, so if it is the total requirement per day, then if we are providing a ration, suppose here how much will be the diameter? Diameter is this much kg. It's not the total diameter means this much. That means in this 13.5 kg diameter, but with the concentration of TDN 6960.05 gram. Okay, so that means how to calculate the percentage? Suppose this much kg diameter you provide, and for that, like what should be the concentration of TDN in 100 kg ration? It is interesting. It is interesting. Actually, these things I also will later on. The DCP requirement, it is 2.84. Please remember this value. 2.84 2.84 gram DCP per kg metabolic body weight. Therefore, this is the maintenance requirement of DCP, 277.468 gram. And again, similar to TDN, for calculating DCP requirement for milk production, you have to calculate 14% in milk. And you have to remember this particular formula. You have to remember this formula. You have to remember this formula. Okay, 1.9 into 0.4 into 5%. Okay, you have to remember this formula. Okay, 1.9 into 0.4 into 5.5, it will be, in this case, it will be how much? 4.1%. 4.1% will be the 14%. You see, on the basis of fat percentage in milk, we can calculate the 14% in milk. You see. Therefore, DCP requirement for 100 gram of milk. Okay, so this is the percentage. Okay, it means this much gram. That means this is percent. No, percent means in 100 ml or 100 gram of milk, 4.1 gram protein is present. In 100 gram of milk, 4.1 gram protein is present, isn't it? Okay. Oh, sorry. Protein is present. Now, in terms, this is protein. This is not digestible protein. This is protein. So, to calculate the DCP requirement, it means this much protein is present in milk. Okay, where from this protein will come? This protein will come from the feed, isn't it? Okay. So how to convert this particular quantity into DCP? For that, actually, we should know the efficiency of utilization of feed protein. That means how much protein of the feed is utilized for milk production. That efficiency you have to know. That is known as also biological value of protein. Let's say. So here, in case of dairy animals, 65 is the efficiency of utilization. This average value. Every 65% is the efficiency of utilization of feed protein for milk production. This is for only milk production. Okay, that means if we have to have 4.1 gram protein, okay, for 100 gram of milk production, we have to provide 63 gram, oh sorry, 6.3 gram protein. That means 6.3 gram protein if we provide, then only 4.1 gram protein will be available for milk production for the animal, and that is we can say DCP, because already you have calculated the efficiency of utilization. Okay, so therefore DCP requirement for 100 gram of milk will be this much, and therefore for 1 kg it will be this much, and for 9 kg milk production it will be this much. Clear? And therefore total DCP requirement will be this minus this. This is the requirement for maintenance plus requirement for milk production. It will be 844.468 gram milk, 8 gram DCP. Sorry, DCP is the total requirement of DCP. Okay. Okay. Now, since already that feeding is already discussed by Viren, in case of ruminant animals, ration formulation is different. Since we have to provide both roughage and concentrate together to the ruminant animals, therefore, like it will be a total mixed ration. It will be a total mixed ration. That means TMR. We have to provide feed in the form of TMR to the ruminant animals. Okay, in that particular TMR, actually, what should be the concentration of energy and protein? Okay, that we have to calculate on the basis of this calculation. Okay, on the basis of milk production body weight, we can calculate DCP and TDN requirement, and after that, okay, on the basis of that the quantity of dry matter the animal can consume per day. On that particular basis, we can calculate or we can determine the concentration or density of energy and protein in the total mixed ration of the dairy. Okay. So regarding that also, I think I'll discuss one day, and these things are very very interesting actually. For me, I do not know for you or not, but these things for me is very interesting. But if you know that thing, it is very very easy, and it's very easy to remember also. But if you only just simply remembering things, it will be confusion during the exam time. So you try to have the concept, and if you have the concept, it will be very easy. You can write in your own word, and whatever calculation will be there, that calculation will be very very correct. But I have seen last year I have seen in many manuals, actually in the manuals it is not see is an every answer actually, because it's very much time consuming. But I have seen that most of the students they uh, generally used to make mistake in this calculation. Okay, although these things are very simple, but if there is a simple mistake, then the result or the things will be wrong. Okay, but I am giving you one question. Okay, uh, I have given two questions regarding that regarding calculation of SC and KNR. And then this is another question I am giving to you as an assignment. So here you calculate the requirement of diameter, DCP and TDN for a lactating cow weighing 550 kg, yielding 20 kg milk per day with 3.5% fat. Okay. Partition the diameter requirement into requirements of concentrate, dry, and green approaches. Partition the diameter requirement into requirements of concentrate, diameter, and dry, concentrate, dry, and green approaches. Okay. This you try to solve by yourself. And if you have any confusion, you please ask me. Okay. And thank you. Any query, anything? How many present? Only 32. Only 32 present. I think the same people are present from starting to in all the class. I think I have seen now the same people, same group is present in the class, but some people are always absent. It should not be like that. Any question? Now now everything actually depends on you. Like now situation is like that. Now how the exam will be conducted, when you'll be able to come to the campus, these things are means not sure. Nobody knows no these things. So therefore, now what I feel like exams will be online only, but uh, definitely it will be limited questions will be there. All of you will be able to answer very well properly. For example, don't worry, but like you should try to gain something now. So therefore, you can study at home, whatever means way it is possible, and try to learn as much as you can. Okay, because evaluation, definitely evaluation will be there, but if it is online, then you know, no, it is not possible like offline things, and those things are there. But to know the things, actually now everything is depends on you. You please study nicely, and whatever I'm giving, do not think that this is only for marks and other thing. You think that this is for learning. So means these things are I'm giving for learning. Like nowadays, that concept is coming. No, online class and online school. This concept are nowadays coming because of this situation. So this is, you can say, assignment, and you cannot carry mark, but you think that this is for your self evaluation. That means how much you are learning, how much you are gaining. And if you have any confusion is after doing these things, you please forward me. I have given you one space. I have actually already opened one special Gmail account. My usual account actually is there, drrajat57 at gmail.com. You please do not forward your assignment to that particular mail because it is overloaded now. So I'm just opening another email, and I have already, I think, given in the group. You please send your assignments and other thing in that particular mail, so that I can check, and if there is any wrong thing or if there is anything, I can convey to you. Okay. Anything?
Sir, indirect method.
Huh?
That is the indirect method. The questions
Indirect
from
method.
indirect method.
Indirect method. Actually, today I have discussed, I think, one question. No, if
Yeah.
you have any confusion, you just go through that particular solution. No, so then I think you'll be able to understand. In my previous class also, I think, but in the very first class also, I have discussed about that indirect method of digestibility. So today also I'm discussing. You please go through, and if you have any confusion, like you can ask me by email or like that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Any other? No. Anyway, then I'll stop here. Okay, thank you. And I think tomorrow Samudra sir will start another topic. So here, although these things like about the calculation of energy and protein requirement for second, it may be discussed by Samudra sir. I do not know, but protein nutrition, under the protein nutrition also this particular subtopic will come. So therefore, today first of all, I will discuss about how we can calculate energy and protein requirements for broilers, that means for growing birds, and for layer. That I'll discuss first, and after that, very briefly, I will discuss about the nutritional needs of Japanese quail and emu bird. Nowadays, uh, because of the popularity of the meat as well as eggs of turkey, then Japanese quails and emus, actually their farmings are emerging. Earlier, actually, small scale rearing or small scale type of farms were there in India, but nowadays everywhere you will find Japanese quails, emu, as well as turkey. Particularly Japanese quail. Japanese quail, they are very easy to rear also because they are very small in size, and moreover, maturity age is very less. Like they will start laying by 6 weeks of age, and if we rear them for meat purpose, in that case, by 6 or 8 weeks, we can use them for meat. Therefore, very convenient for the farmer to rear this Japanese quail, and as well as it is also means I do not know whether it is rumor or like that. People think that meat and eggs of Japanese quail, they have the ability to protect us from cancerous growth. Okay, these things are also there, and recently actually that the prices of the eggs it was increased actually. It is increased up to maybe 10 rupees per eggs of the Japanese quail, although eggs size is very small. But first of all, I'll discuss about the calculation, how we can calculate energy requirement for the layers. How we can calculate first energy requirement for maintenance. Layers, they have two requirement. One is requirement for maintenance, another one is requirement for product. Growth will be very limited of layer also, and therefore we can ignore the requirement for growth. Of course, if we do not provide energy as per the maintenance requirement, in that case there may be loss of body weight. Okay, this case actually we have to provide energy to fulfill not only for their laying requirement but also to maintain them in optimal level. Otherwise, they will lose body weight and it will affect productivity of the birds. And here you remember this nutrient requirement for maintenance of adult hen is ET, this is the factor. Body weight, this is kg to the power 0.75. To the power 0.75 means this is nothing but this is the whole metabolic body weight. Yesterday I discussed about the metabolic body weight, and here in case of poultry also we can calculate the metabolic body weight the same way. Okay, that means twice square root of body weight to the power 3. That way we can calculate the metabolic body weight very easily. So this you please remember that any requirement, energy requirement in terms of any net energy,
Not
not
metabolizable
metabolizable
energy.
energy requirement in terms of net energy for adult hand is 83 into body weight to the power 0.75 kilocalorie per day. And if the body weight is like suppose this 1.75 kg, if on an average body weight is suppose 1.75 kg, in that case requirement of energy in terms of any will be 126 kilocalorie per kg. This will be the requirement, and we can express this in terms of ME also, considering that ME is higher than NE, is not it? After ME is the metabolizable energy. Then from metabolizable energy, if we subtract heat increment, okay, then we'll get the net energy. So you please remember that I think all of you know about what is gross energy, digestible energy, metabolizable energy, and lastly it will be net energy. Net energy is what? Metabolizable energy minus heat increment. So here on an average heat increment loss will be 18%. 18%. Okay. So therefore, like 82% of net energy will be means this one what is called metabolizable energy. Okay, that means sorry means 18% will be lost. So it will be this way we can calculate like metabolizable energy for maintenance of the laying birds. This you remember. That means this is simple mathematics actually. Like suppose this is 126 kilocalorie net energy. So if we have 100, then net energy will be 82. Okay, this meaning is like this now. 18% will be lost as a heat increment. So that means when net energy is 82, then metabolizable energy will be 100. Okay. Therefore, when net energy 126, metabolizable energy will be 100 divided by 82 into what? 126. So 100 divided by 82 is into 126. That will be your metabolizable energy. So it is higher than that of the net energy. So this way we can calculate the maintenance metabolizable energy requirement of the for maintenance of laying birds. But here one thing we have to see again, that is activity requirement, activity allowance. Activity allowance will depends on the management. Activity allowance will be 50% of the maintenance, 50% of this, 50% of this. And if we rear the layer under case system of management, in that case it will be 37% of the maintenance. And it is less in case of case system, because under case system there is very limited chances for moving here and there, running or flying. There is a very limited chance. Therefore, energy requirement will be less for activity. But under depleter system of management, there will be very tremendous activity of the layers. They may fly, they may run, they may move here and there. Therefore, the requirement for activity will be more under depleter system of management. And this you have to consider. That means then the total, it means this 154 kilocalorie plus 50% of 154. The total will be the requirement, maintenance requirement of energy in terms of metabolizable energy for layer under repeater system of management. Clear? Then egg production. Egg production, if on an average an egg will have 86 kilocalorie energy, and if egg production is 85%, then it will be 86 into 0.85. That means 85 divided by 100, it will be 73 kilocalorie energy per day. This will be the requirement for egg production. That means this requirement plus requirement for maintenance plus requirement for activity. That will be the total energy need for a layer per day. I think it is clear. It is easy. You just go through once. It will be easy. Then calculation of energy requirement for growth. Growth means during the growing period. Here you have to remember that this requirement is depends on their growth rate. Means body weight gain per day. If growth is high, then requirement will be more, and if growth is less, requirement will be less. And it varies from 1.5 kilocalorie per gram of body weight gain. If body weight gain is 100, then requirement will vary from 150 to 300 kilocalorie per day. Okay, it depends on the growth rate. And it also depends on the amount of fat in relation to the protein deposited. That means whatever body weight gain will be there, in that particular gain, if everything is muscle, protein, in that case, the requirement of protein will be more. And if suppose fat is deposited more than that of the muscle, in that case, requirement of energy may be somewhat more than that of the protein, because fat contains more energy than that of the protein. And therefore, actually, in case of broiler, if you think about during the later part of their life, that means during the finishing stage, requirement of energy is highest. And this is because of that, actually. Since during the finishing stage, there will be deposition of some fat, and also people want that some fat should be deposited. Therefore, if we can increase the level of energy in the diet, it will happen. And because of that, actually, energy requirement is higher during the finishing stage than that of the starting and growing stage. And here, in case of layer also, if like there is deposition of fat, in that case, there may be more need of energy, and if there is only deposition of protein. But deposition of fat is not desirable in case of layer. If fat is deposited during the growing stage, that means the body weight gain is more during the growing stage. In that case, laying performance will not be better; it will be inferior, because like when fat will be deposited, it will affect the reproductive performance of the layer. Then the requirement for growth is higher in cockerels than the pullet. In case of male, than the female. However, body weight gain is also genetically and controlled by level of various hormonal secretion in the body. It is growth hormone, thyroxine, and sex hormone. Of course, this growth rate, all of you know that growth rate of the broilers as well as layers depends on their strain. That means it is genetical and also controlled by. And when genetical will be there, definitely hormonal secretion will be different according to their genetics, and therefore, it will be related. That means this hormonal secretion will also be related with the growth rate. So here you will just remember this point, that energy requirement for growth is 1.5 to 3 kilocalorie per gram of body weight. So if a question is come like this, that suppose calculate the energy requirement for a layer producing at a rate of 85% and having body weight of 1.5 kg and with growth rate of, like suppose 30 gram per day. So if this type of question will be there, you have to calculate energy requirement for maintenance, then energy requirement for growth, and then energy requirement for egg production. And if you add all these three together, you will get the total energy requirement for a layer per day. In case of broiler only, we have to calculate the requirement for maintenance and plus for growth. These two requirement will be there. Maintenance, growth, of course, activity. Activity requirement will also be there. Maintenance requirement, activity requirement, and requirement for growth. Activity requirement will be similar to layer. 50% of maintenance in case of depleter system of management, and 37% of maintenance requirement in case of case system of management. And here also means energy requirement for maintenance will be same. 83 into body weight, live weight to the power 0.75, or 83 into metabolic body weight of the broiler. Depending on the body weight, it will vary. Okay, and this thing, of course, sometime important if we go for precision feeding. That means if we want to feed the broilers as per their requirement only. In that case, like these things will be helpful. That is calculation of energy requirement, calculation of protein requirement. This thing will be helpful, and in that case, we can feeding strategy weekly. Definitely, per week, how much protein here 5 kg this will energy requirement metabolism directly here. For activity, if it is liter, 3% of maintenance give you 100 per day, and then total energy requirement for maintenance will be per day. And we is like 7.14 gram per day. Energy requirement, this also we can calculate. It is there in case of beer, I have told you 1.5 to 3 kilocalorie per gram. Beer also we can calculate, and this also assuming that this whatever gain, that means whatever body growth will be there, whatever muscle or like fat will be deposited in that particular things, 18% will be protein and 50% fat. That means in that body mass, in that growth, that body mass, there will be 18% protein and 15% fat. And accordingly, like suppose if it is 18% protein, how much protein is in this particular gain? That means in 7.14 gram body weight gain, or body weight, or we can say in 7.14 gram that body. If protein percentage is 18%, then how many gram of protein will be present? That calculation will be this. That means it will be 1.285 gram protein is present in 7.14 gram of body of the broiler. And if it is 15%, then 1.05 gram fat is present in that this 1 gram body or body weight. Okay, and it is 4 and 9 is physiological fuel value. In case of protein, protein, fat, carbohydrate, 449. Physiological fuel value of carbohydrate and protein is 4, and fat is 9. Since fat provide 2.25 times more energy than carbohydrate and protein. So this way it will be 14.6 kilocalorie per day. And this will be the requirement for what? Body weight gain. So weekly body weight gain, definitely weekly, like suppose today if it is 100 gram, tomorrow it will be higher than that, and day after tomorrow it may be lesser than that. So this way it will vary, okay, during a particular week, and we can take the average gain, and that we can assume, or that we can consider for calculation of energy requirement for body weight. This way we can calculate, and the total requirement, therefore it will be 302 plus 14.6, that is 316.6 kilocalorie per day. Okay, this way. Then protein requirement. First of all, protein requirement for broiler. Here, in case of protein requirement, we have to consider many things. First thing, we have to consider the maintenance requirement of protein. Second thing, we have to consider protein requirement for tissue growth, it is body weight gain. Then feeder growth, because feeder contains 82% protein, and feeders comprise 7% of body weight. And tissue protein contains 18% protein. Here I have shown to you, this is 18%. Here also it is 18% protein. So depending on the daily gain in body weight, we can calculate the protein requirement. Okay, daily gain in gram into 0.18 is because this is the protein content per gram. Means 18 divided by 100, it will be 0.18. And in case of feeder growth, daily gain in body weight into 0.07. 0.07 means 7% body weight. No, 7 divided by 100, it will be 0.07, and 82 divided by 100, it will be 0.82. So it is nothing but it is 14% in feeder. Then this is means proportion of or feeder content in the body of the broiler, 7%. So these two will be there. And after that, maintenance requirement, growth requirement, and requirement for feeder growth. These three requirement we have to consider for the broilers. Maintenance requirement for tissue growth or body weight gain, and requirement for feeder or feeder growth. These three requirement. And after that, we have to see the efficiency of utilization of dietary protein. When we provide 100 gram of protein, you know digestibility of protein, you know digestibility coefficient. If we provide 100 gram protein, all 100 will be digested. Maybe 60 gram will be digested, maybe 70 gram will be digested, rest 30 gram or 40 gram will be excreted to the feces. And on an average, here in case of broiler, efficiency of utilization of dietary protein is 61%. In other words, we can say digestibility coefficient of dietary protein in broiler is on an average 61%. Okay, this considering this 61%, that means if we provide so after calculating the total protein requirement, that is the maintenance requirement plus requirement for body weight gain plus requirement for feeder growth, the total requirement, what you have to do, you have to consider this, and again you have to means add some extra quantity of protein. How you will add that particular how you can calculate that particular quantity of extra protein? You can calculate like this. Like suppose if it is 61%, if efficiency of utilization, or you can say the acidity coefficient of dietary protein is 61%, it means that to get 61, you have to provide 100 gram. Okay. Therefore, suppose 300, that is if it is the total requirement of protein, we have to provide how much? So it will be 100 divided by 61 into 300 gram. So that whatever quantity we will get, that will be the actual dietary protein we have to provide to the broiler for growth. Okay, so this we can calculate their requirement. So you please try to understand that concept. Then protein requirement for egg production, it is very easy. Maintenance requirement is 3 in case of egg production. Maintenance requirement is only 3 gram per day, and protein content of egg is 6 gram. So therefore, this 6 gram and 3 gram we have to provide. This total requirement of for egg production will be 9 gram. And if here like egg production is 85%, then it will be the total requirement will be 9 into 0.85. That we have to calculate. And then you have to calculate the efficiency of utilization of dietary protein, okay, for egg production. And here generally on an average it is 55%. So 9 into 100, 9 into 100, that means actually it is like this: 9 divided by 55 into 100 will be 16.36 gram per day. And here I am not considering the egg production percentage. Here I am considering egg production percentage is 100%. If it is not 100%, it is 85%. As I told you, it will be total requirement for egg production will be 90 gram into 0.85, which is 85%. 0.9 if it is 90% dead weight. And if it is 100%, then it will be 9 gram. 9. That means energy protein requirement of A. And after that, density of protein, utilization of dietary protein for egg production. So this way, you can calculate protein requirement for egg production. Okay, here these things. Calculation for energy and protein for broilers and layer. Next, I'll go for very briefly about the nutrient requirement and how we can feed the Japanese quails. All of you may have seen Japanese quail in our farm. This is male and this is female. Okay, male are always beautiful than that of not beautiful actually. If it is male, it will be handsome. And this is female. Okay, male, female. This type of feeders will be there. Colors will be there. In the breast region in case of male, and in case of female the color will be like this, male, female. And I think in Mizoram most of you in your home may have Japanese quail, because here it is very popular. Eggs and meats are very popular in Mizoram because of that particular means they prevent this cancerous growth. So because of that, I think it's very much popular. But anyway, if it is not that also, if we take this meat of this Japanese quail, it will be good because less fat and cholesterol level is also less. And in case of protein also it is same. Cholesterol percentage and other things are lesser than that of the normal dark egg or like layer eggs. Anyway, nutrient requirements of quails are different from that of chicken. And here one thing you have to remember, that since their body size is very small, maybe 150 gram or 200 gram in case of adult Japanese quail, therefore feed intake, average feed intake is very less. These are the average feed intake. Maybe maximum 25 gram, 22 to 25 gram for the adult. Therefore, concentration of protein and energy should be higher. Then only there will be appropriate intake of energy and protein and other nutrient. You see, if it is 20 gram or if it is 7 gram intake per day, 17 gram intake per day, in that case, in this particular amount, actually, the required vitamins, minerals, everything should be present. Of course, their requirement is very, very less, but everything should be present. So, therefore, why prepare the rations for the Japanese quail? It should be homogeneously mixed, and the nutrients should be evenly distributed, particularly the minor feed ingredients like vitamins and mineral supplements should be evenly and homogeneously distributed. Then only they will get, otherwise they may suffer from deficiency. So this point we have to consider. Nutrient requirements are different. There are small scale production, like if you numbers or 20 numbers or 50 numbers, in that case, or 100 numbers, in that case, commercial broiler or layer ration may be fed. Commercial broiler ration maybe okay for the broiler quails, and layer ration during the laying stage or layer quails. Okay, this way we can use the same commercial ration. And moreover, since they are intake very less, requirement will be less. These things you just remember here. Supplement quality is recommended. This is another point. And average intake during the stage, it is 7 gram per day. Growing stage 17, laying stage 20 number. And how you can divide their different physiological period Like in case of broiler quails, 0 to 4 weeks starter ration we have to provide, and 4 to 6 week finish ration. These two provide to the broiler quails. And in case of layer quails, 4 to 4 weeks, starter ration 4 to 5, 4 week and 4 to 5, fourth week and fifth week duration, then 6th week onward. First, second, third, we have to provide duration. Fourth, fifth duration, onward layering, because by 6th week they will have sexual maturity and they are okay. Very small things I think it is. And feed consumption, this table I am showing you, so it will you can keep as a reference. So here is in week, first week, second week, third week, fourth week, fifth week, sixth week. So it is 3 gram, 8 gram, 11 gram, 15 gram, 17 gram, 21 gram, and maximum it will be 23. Maximum maybe 25, not more than that. Okay, and feed efficiency is 3. As this is somewhat higher actually, because growth is less, no? Means fish means not good, inferior than broiler. And these are the recommended nutrients for the broiler quails and layer quails. Energy requirement you see in case of broiler 2800, 2800, but protein you see is 27 and 24. You see, 27 means we have to provide broiler pre-starter ration during the starting phase to the broiler quails. Broiler pre-starter ration, you remember. Then during the finishing phase, we can provide this grower ration, starter rations. Starter ration is also sometimes it contains less protein, but the commercial when you will purchase commercial pre-starter ration and starter broiler ration, definitely you will have this much quantity of protein. Okay, so here you please remember this energy requirement is same, but protein requirement is very high as compared to the broilers. And in case of layer quails, it is same during the starting and growing phase. Energy requirement 2750, but during the laying phase, it will be 2700. Whereas protein requirement is high. You see, in case of layer, in case of commercial layer, protein requirement is how much? 17 to 18%, 18% as per BIS. But here you see it is 19%, and during growing stage, in case of commercial layer, it is 15% less, but it's 20 here. And starting also it is high, it is 20, yeah, but here it is 24. So this way, protein requirement for the Japanese quails are comparatively higher than the commercial layers, that you please remember. Otherwise, energy requirement is more or less it is similar. It is less, of course, compared to commercial layers. Less, because in case of commercial layer, 0 and 18%, but it is less. Calcium and phosphorus, so it's lesser than less than the commercial layer or boiler, but try to remember these are not very figure. And here another thing you have to remember, that the Japanese quails, they need 13 essential amino acids. For poultry, I told you that they need how much? 11 essential amino acids. Out of that, 6 will be limiting in most of the times, or critical amino acids, and 2 most limiting amino acids are lysine and methionine. But in case of Japanese quails, they need 13 essential amino acids. And they are arginine, cysteine, glycine. Glycine here also it is required. Histidine, isoleucine, leucine, lysine, methionine, phenylalanine, threonine, tryptophan, tyrosine, and valine. Please remember the name, since it is somewhat different than the broilers and layers. Optimum calorie protein ratio should always be maintained. Here also optimum calorie protein ratio should be maintained. And here, in case of quails, it is very important because their feed intake is very less. If energy is more, feed intake will be less. If energy is less, feed intake will be more. You know, because birds as well as animals they eat for energy. When energy requirement will be fulfilled, they will stop eating feed. Because of that, if energy is more, definitely feed intake will be less. Means it is already less. But if energy is more, it will be more or less. In that case, what will happen? They will definitely suffer from deficiency of micro minerals like vitamins, minerals, and maybe also suffer from protein deficiency. Growth will be retarded, sexual maturity will be delayed, egg production will be affected. Okay. Uh, then this one, vitamin and mineral requirement. This is just you keep as your reference. It is not possible to remember all those things. Since I have to give, I am giving. Here, only this table you please try to remember from the examination point of view. But since you should know the requirement also, since it quails a very small bird as compared to layers and broilers, so you should also know their requirement. Although they are small, but their requirement will be comparable with the broiler and layer. Feed intake is less, but requirement, that means percentage of calcium or phosphorus or niacin, the different vitamins, the level will be comparable. If you compare this with broiler and layer, it will be same. But feed intake is less because of the small size. Okay, this table you please try to remember, and this table you keep as reference. Starting and growing quail and laying layers laying quails. Okay. This is all about Japanese quail. I'm giving very briefly. And this is emu bird. I do not know whether you have seen or not. I think, you may see this bird in maybe in agriculture fair or somewhere like that. But it's a very big actually. This bird is very, height is more. It's a very big bird. Uh, but now, like farming is there in the northeast. I think the government of Meghalaya, uh, with the help of KVKs, trying to popularize rearing of Japanese emu and turkey. Popularity of their eggs, medicinal value of eggs and meats of these three species. So this way, now in Assam also these things are going on, and this turkey and emu meat, it's aristocratic meat. You'll find in you may not find in the normal hotels and other. You may find in five-star hotels, and because this is very costly. Anyway, briefly, I'll tell about their nutritional requirement. And here, feeding habits. Feeding habits or feeding behaviors of emus, they are different. And since they are very big bird, generally they are reared under semi-intensive system of management. During night time, we can provide them shelter, or during rainy season also we can provide them so for we can provide them shelter, but most of the time we can allow them to graze, or we allow them to move here and there, and during that particular open space itself we can provide feeder, we can provide water, feeder we can provide, and feed we can provide in the feeder, and water also we can provide in the open space. This way we can manage the emu bird. And similar to duck, they are also herbivores, and they also like foraging. And during that scavenging, you can say, they also consume different insect like caterpillar, grasshoppers, whatever will be available, they will consume, including worms and other things. And they also consume the leaves of plant and forages, including vegetables and fruits. They swallow small stones. This you can say it is grit. They collect grit by themselves, which helps in mastication of food in the gizzard. Commercial feeds may be formulated as starter, grower, breeder, maintenance, and finisher feed. You can formulate rations, starter ration, grower ration, and layer ration for the emu birds also. Average feed intake, you see, average feed intake is very high. If it is 3 months, 3 months means 12 weeks. It is 250 gram. In case of commercial layer, maximum intake will be 110. That commercial farms, no. Generally, they are provided 100 gram per day. Okay, but nutritional are maintained very properly. But quantity of feed is generally provided 100 gram or 110 grams. But here you see 3 week, will be 12 week, 12 week will be 250 grams. And regarding at what age they will produce egg, that means age and sexual maturity, I am not discussing here. And I think these things you may be discussed in RPM. Okay, like Mahmoud is the more hard to is Turkey, and here I am discussing only about their feeding management. You see, it is very high, like by 18 months, it is 100 gram, nearly 1 kg. So since their size is very big, they are big. But egg production is very less. Egg size is very high. It will be like this. It will be maybe around 30-35 eggs will be produced per year. It's a very huge egg. Price is very high, but like feeding intake is more. That means, and because of that, maybe egg means price of meat and eggs is very high in case of. But people want, and this is the feeding schedule we can follow. It is proper like this. Feeding schedule for emu birds: starter feed, grower feed, finisher feed, breeder meal. Starting 0 to 8 CP 22% and energy should be 2,700. 8 to 36 week feeding should be ad libitum and CP 22 and 7 same. During starting energy is same. Then finisher 36 to, this is for broiler emu. 17% CP ad libitum feeding 2,860 kilocalorie, and breeder layer maybe male female ad libitum feeding 22% protein and 2,400 to 2,500 kilocalorie metabolizable energy per kg. And this is developed by this particular feeding schedule was developed by CDPO Mumbai. Okay. Central Poultry Development Organization, CPDO, Central Poultry Development Organization, Mumbai. They have given this feeding product in bottle. Feeding management. This is this is not Turkey. I think this is Emu. They do not have this thing crop. peculiarity of the digestive system. Proventriculus is quite distensible because of no because croup is not there. No, therefore this proventriculus is somewhat bigger. The length of an emu's digestive tract is approximately 10 times less than that of domestic fowl. It is less. For adequate feed and water intake, 1 feed container per 10 bird is recommended because of size. The water should be clean and free from contamination. Water sanitizer may be used. The same alarm is recommended for removing any turbid. This is the same. An adult bird requires 6 to 7 liters of water per day. Therefore, adequate actually water or water pots should be provided in the open space along with the feed. It should be given only in prescribed timing. There may be morning it is given from during this period, evening during this period, and between 1 to 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Any one timing we can provide. Once a day we can provide the feed. Any one of this timing we can follow for their feeding. But it should be same. Requirement for lysine methionine. These things you just keep as reference, no need to remember. But here, this one energy requirement, it is there. Although I am showing you CDPO, they have already recommended, but this is also another recommendation: starter, grower, finisher. This is a problem because their body weight is more, size is big. Because of that, actually, leg problem is common in case of emu birds. Leg problem is common. Leg disorders are common, and this may be due to managemental deficiency, that is housing and nutrition. If we rear them under intensive system of management, in that case, if they cannot get enough space for moving, for walking, for running, in that case, leg disorder may occur. Okay, therefore, as I told you, generally emus, they are reared under semi-intensive system of management. That means only shelter is provided for night shelter or during week. Otherwise, they are kept in open space, providing feeder as well as water. That means feed and water is provided in that open space. Calcium, phosphorus, vitamin deficiency. This also can lead to leg disorders. Inadequate maternal nutrition during the early stage. If nutrition is not proper, in that case, bony development will not be good, and it may lead to leg disorders during their later part of their life. Restricting the time of access to mixed feed to a period of only 4 hours each day from about 10 to 30 days of age will minimize the incidence of leg disorder in emu bird. That means when you will restrict their feed, in that case, what will happen? Growth will be restricted, and thereby body weight gain will be less, and thereby leg disorders may be minimized. Like legs, you have seen in the picture. I think they are very height is more. So if bones are not very strong, definitely there will be leg disorders. Okay, that means if body weight is more, that means body weight will be concentrated in the body, not in the legs. So therefore, they will be unable to bear the weight of the body. So this is this, or we can provide like nutrition during the early stage, so that their bone development is good, it is very strong, so that they can bear the weight of the bird during the adult stage. Then fiber, these things are there. The fiber, humans can digest about 20% fiber in their diet because they are forager. They can consume this, as I told you, vegetables, that grasses, everything they can consume, and therefore, like they have the ability to digest more fiber than the other poultry species. The energy derived from dietary fiber satisfy about 11% of their energy requirement. 11% of their energy requirement may be fulfilled by the roughages. Roughages means maybe vegetable, maybe fruits, maybe grass, this type of roughages. Tender leaves of plant, they will be able to satisfy about 11% of the energy requirement. Immature, rapidly growing emus should be fed diet relatively low in fiber during the earlier uh, uh, stage. Examples of some balance ration, these are the balance ration. This way we can provide some balance ration, and this balance ration will also given by CDPO, Central Poultry Development Organization, Mumbai, for starter, grower, finisher, breeder, and maintenance. Maintenance means adult bird, not productive, not producing egg, not used for breeding purpose. This type of adult bird, this maintenance ration we can provide, and these are the rations. Okay, this ration of course you can remember. You see body weight. Emu 6 weight about 370 to 450 grams. You see, it's very huge. First 48 to 72 hours, 6 are restricted to head, sir. Emu needs brooding during their early life. They also need brooding, but they're very different. One brooder should be for 25 to 46 only. Here, in our case, in case of or in case of there, in brooder, one compartment is used for six. Here you see one brooder should be for 25 to 46. And this way, at the rate of 4 square feet per sick, you see the requirement 4 square feet per sick. First few weeks. And these are the brooding temperature and other thing. These things may be discussed, I think, in your what is called in an LPM.